Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board, the best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Parlay. This is Spreadzies with our NFL Week 12 picks. I'm your host, Luca, alongside my co-host, Jelani, and we're excited to bring you another action-packed edition of the NFL season. It will be the American Thanksgiving special, pardon me. So it's going to be an incredible slate of games. Before we get into it, let's break down how we did last week. Very interesting week in the NFL. As you see, myself and Jelani, we go head-to-head against the spread every single week. I went 8-7 to now bring my overall record to 71-63. And the game that threw me off the most, although I got it right, was the Titans losing to the Texans outright. I don't think anybody saw that coming. That was shocking for sure. Jelani, how are you looking after another wild week of the NFL season?
Yeah, I also went 8-7 as well. So I'm actually tied with you right now, 71-63. Wow. So we're neck and neck now. The one that shocked me, I think it was definitely the Cleveland game, because I thought Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, a few bad weeks for that offense. I thought they were going to come up big and destroy the Lions. That wasn't the case. Even without Jared Goff, it was a 3-point win. So the Lions actually covered. We'll see what happens with the Browns this week as they play the Ravens.
Yeah, we're starting to see a theme. The underdogs are coming in, and we've seen at least one double-digit favorite lose in the last couple of weeks. So crazy theme. This week, there's a bunch of toss-up games, but we're first going to start with our Thursday slate of games. Like I said, it's the American Thanksgiving, so we do want to wish all of our American viewers a happy Thanksgiving. Definitely enjoy it. And we are going to start with the first game on Thursday. It's going to be the most exciting one. Probably not, but we got the Bears taking on the Lions, two teams who are headed in the opposite direction. Both these teams stink right now. And the line for this game is the Bears favorite by 3.5 points. Who do you like here, Jelani?
I like the Chicago Bears here, and I know that Justin Fields is out with a rib injury, so that means Andy Dalton will get the action, start this one. He did play pretty well against the Ravens. He had them in position to win that game over, he had north of 200 yards passing, so he played pretty well, right? And you're looking at the other side, you see Tim Boyle. He's going to have to play a better game, right, for the Lions. He only had 77 yards passing in their last one. So, and when you're looking at this matchup between the Bears and Lions, week 4, they met and the Bears won that one. I think one guy, though, that the Bears will have to really key on is DeAndre Swift, running back for the Lions. I think that if they shut him down, then that means the Lions won't have any offense, because Swift has been playing great as of late. So if the Bears could limit the run, this bodes well for them, and they'll probably get this one done if you're going to pick or do a pick 'em. But yeah, I think the Bears got this one.
Talk about a stellar QB matchup. We're going to have both backups seeing action in this one. I think Matt Nagy has lost his Bears team, Jelani. I don't think the players are going to play hard here. I think everybody, in Chicago wants Matt Nagy out. He has not lived up to expectations. Chicago's having a very disappointing season, and I think it's going to show here. I think this is going to be a very big letdown spot for the Bears. And you look at the Lions. Yes, they have not won a game yet, only tying a game, but they have been very competitive in the last couple of weeks. I mean, they should have won that game against the Steelers, the one that they tied, and then they could have easily beaten a Browns team on the road with their backups. So this is a Lions team. Their defense has been playing well, and that run game with Swift, they're doing a lot of good things. So I can see the run game have another incredible outing here, keeping this game close, keeping the time of possession in favor of the Lions. I think this is going to be a field goal game, and don't be surprised if the Lions shock everybody and pick up their first win of the season on Thanksgiving. So I actually like the Lions here to cover the number.
The 4 o'clock one, we have the Raiders, we have the Cowboys, two famous franchises in this NFL. So who's going to win this one?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of points. The line right there on the screen, 7.5. I got to go with the Raiders. I know ever since the Ruggs incident has happened, the Raiders offense has been stalling. But you look at the Cowboys, they're going to be without Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. So that means Michael Gallup is all that's left there. And of course, Schultz. But I just don't think the Cowboys are going to easily win this game. I think they're going to have a fair share of problems in moving the football. We saw some of those problems against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs defense hasn't necessarily been a great defense to say the least. So I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is a game that the Raiders need to win if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. But this is also going to be a big game for the Cowboys because a lot of people are starting to question them. A lot of people are starting to doubt this Cowboys team after they've had a little bit of a couple of hiccups the last couple of weeks. So this is going to be a big game for both. I think this is way too many points. I do like the Raiders to keep this one close. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Take the under if you are betting the over-under in this one. So I am going to take the Raiders here plus 7.5.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there as well. I got the Raiders in this one. Again, I think Dallas probably wins this game, but yeah, I think the Raiders cover in this one because when you're looking at the Cowboys, you mentioned it. Where are their weapons, right? You have a CeeDee Lamb injury, right? His concussion against the Chiefs happened on Sunday. His status unclear. You don't have Amari Cooper. So what the Cowboys have to do is run the football, and they don't want to run the football. We saw that in Kansas City. So they have to do that. But even though the Raiders have also failed to get in the end zone, they haven't put up more than 16 points in their last 3 games. They'll try to get things going. Derek Carr and company have to, or else they'll drop another game. So with that being said, with all the injuries on Dallas's side in terms of their offense, I think this is a spot where we're going to see a low score game or something probably around the 24-21-ish range. And the Raiders, if that is the case, the Raiders would like it because they are 4-1 against the spread when they hit at least 21 points. So if that's the case, that is going to help out my Raiders pick here. But yeah, as for the Cowboys, just so banged up, a lot of injuries. We don't know. Maybe Tyron Smith comes back. If he's not out there, the Cowboys might suffer.
Okay, and then in the nightcap of Thursday's games, we've got the Buffalo Bills coming off a very bad loss against the Colts, taking on the New Orleans Saints. They're dealing with a fair share of injuries of their own. The line in this game sees the Bills as 4.5-point favorites.
I got the Bills. I know they're coming off of a bad game against the Colts. The Colts did whatever they wanted to do, but also the Eagles did whatever they wanted to do against the Saints defense that apparently a lot of people have liked this year. But honestly, I think that the Bills might have to, wake up in this one because you're looking at the AFC. A lot of teams are, really getting things going, and the Bills, they can't afford another loss. They can't afford to drop another one. So look for Josh Allen in this offense to really hit and really get through this Saints defense. I think they're going to have a big day, to be honest with you. And when you're looking at the Saints, they might not have Kamara again. So how is that going to look for New Orleans? I don't think that's going to be a recipe for success. Trevor Siemian, what is he going to do against the Bills, who do still, I know they had a bad game, but they are still the leading defense in the NFL. So with that being said, I got Buffalo.
Yeah, I love the Bills here in a bounce back spot. Way too many injuries for the Saints to trust them. Like you said, that elite defense got exposed last week by, I would say, a mediocre Eagles team. The Eagles aren't really scaring a whole ton of teams these days. So the Bills, they got to take advantage of this spot. If they come out flat, that's just going to be a bad look for them. They want to still establish themselves as one of the best teams in the AFC. So you got to take care of business against teams like the Saints that are definitely depleted. You got to feel for that fan base. The year looks so promising. Then Winston goes down. Then it was a domino effect with Kamara, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a chance for the Bills to really flex their muscles, get back on track, and get that offense rolling again. So it's going to be tough for the Saints to keep this one close, I think, Jelani. I think this is going to be a blowout win for the Bills, and they're going to get a much-needed win here to close out the Thanksgiving games.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't recommend anyone really bet on this one, but who do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the toughest games to pick against the spread. It could go either way. I'm going to lay the one with the Falcons here. I think Ridley could come back in this one. And I just think the Falcons, after not looking good on offense whatsoever in the last 2 weeks, how many points did they muster up? 3 in the last 2 weeks. I do expect their offense to look a lot better in this one. Listen, Jacksonville, it's a rebuild year, retooling year, whatever you want to call it. This team's not going to be competitive. This team's not, looking to get into the playoffs. They're just looking to see what they have in Trevor Lawrence and company. Very up and down year. Trevor Lawrence has struggled the last couple of weeks. Atlanta doesn't have a good defense, so he should be able to get a good game overall. But I do like the Falcons to win this game. But the Falcons typically do struggle against the AFC, and especially the AFC South. But I think they'll change that narrative here. After 2 awful weeks, they'll have more time off between their last game against New England going into this one. So I just see Matt Ryan, the veteran, getting it done on the road here.
This one, and I understand, like you mentioned, they haven't been playing well on offense. The past few weeks, they've only put up 3 points, right? And that was against the Cowboys and the Patriots. But I don't think the Jaguars defense is like the Cowboys or Patriots defenses that are actually solid. So this is a spot where Matt Ryan and the offense can actually get things going once again. So look for them to improve this week. And I know that the Jaguars, they're not the best pick here. They do have a chance to win this game outright, but Matt Ryan will outplay Trevor Lawrence when it's all said and done. The one thing I ask for the Falcons to do is to protect Matt Ryan. If they could protect Matt Ryan and not allow the Jags to do things like they did against the Bills, remember that one? I think that the Falcons will end up getting this one done. So yeah, give me the Falcons.
You will. The New York Jets taking on the Houston Texans. Another game you probably want to stay away from. Texans laying the 3 here at home.
Yeah, I don't really like this game overall. I'm just gonna go with the Houston Texans here. They had a very impressive Sunday. We just saw what they did to the AFC leading Titans, right? And that was something we weren't expecting. We saw Tyrod Taylor really have a great performance. He was reminding people of the potential that he could possibly have as a full-time starter for the Houston Texans at QB. So I think that he comes into this one feeling confident. The offense, having a pretty good performance against a solid defense in Tennessee. So I think that the Houston Texans will come up here and actually have another pretty good performance, and David Culley and company will move to 3-8.
Much better suited with Flacco at the helm if they do want to win some games. But I do got to go with the Texans here. Tyrod Taylor, I think we all forgot how good he is at that quarterback position. He's a guy that keeps you in these games. He's a guy that can make the throws, make some plays. And that was an impressive win against the Titans. Are you kidding me? Nobody had the Texans winning that game. And they not only won that game, they basically handled the Titans throughout. So this is a Texans team that has to be feeling good about themselves. They got the momentum in their side. David Culley has those guys playing hard. So I think this is a game that the Texans are going to want to win. They're at home. And, this is a team that is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games. So I just don't trust the Jets whatsoever. I think they're far more of a mess. You see Salah, it's been a rough go for him with this Jets team. They're a mess right now. They're headed for another top pick in the NFL draft. So I do think the Texans will take care of business here. And they will win another game.
We have the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots. So who is your pick here? The Pats are favored.
So this is a tough one. I was going back and forth, but I do have to lay the points with the Patriots here. Bill Belichick, he basically has a bye here because, they hadn't played since Thursday. So he's going to have extra time to prepare for this Titans team that, they might have got a little bit exposed last week. Now, I know the conditions weren't good, but this Titans team, maybe, not having Henry there is starting to catch up to them. And, Bill Belichick does a great job of neutralizing teams' offenses. So how is Tannehill going to look against Belichick? Oh, and by the way, Belichick has a ton of experience going up against Tannehill from when Tannehill was the quarterback from the Dolphins. So this is going to be a guy who he's familiar with. Right now, I cannot bet against the Patriots. I know this number could be a little bit too big for many people to lay on here, but the Pats, they're clicking right now. They're hitting all their cylinders. That offense is moving the football, and that defense is just downright scary. For as good as Tannehill and company have been without Henry, I do think their offense is going to struggle here to move the football. So this could be another big-time performance from that Patriots defense. And I think Mac Jones has proven that he can make the necessary throws when needed to move the chains. I do like the Patriots to win this game by a touchdown.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. If you're asking me who's my pick to actually win the game, I'd say the Patriots, but I'm going to give the Titans some love here. I just think when I'm looking at it, when they're underdogs of 5.5 points or more, they're unbeaten. So they're really good against the spread in this spot. And you're asking yourself, who have the Pats really beat? Okay, I get it. They're on a roll right now, a winning streak led by Mac Jones and these guys, but they beat the Jets and Falcons. Not that good. The Panthers and Browns, they haven't really played that great this year. They've been average. The only good win recently was against LA and the Chargers. So what can the Pats do here, right? If they end up playing a great game once again against a team like the Titans, who overall a lot of people consider to be the best in the AFC, if they get this one done this week, then we're talking about New England as probably being that team in the AFC to challenge, for a Super Bowl appearance probably down the line. But yeah, I think Tennessee, recent success has, been favoring the Tennessee Titans in these matchups, right? They beat them the past 2 times that they've played, including the 2019 wild card game, Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot. So we'll see what Mike Vrabel has. He's a very good coach. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what the Titans have been able to do this year. But yeah, bad loss on the weekend against the Texans, similar to what they did against the Jets. So 2 bad losses on the year. But when they play good teams, we've seen them come up big. So I think that they're going to get this one.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the game of the week. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the New York Giants, who just fired Jason Garrett. So what's going to happen here? Do you see the Giants show up, or are the Eagles going to keep this win streak going?
I don't see the Giants getting this one. I'm taking the Eagles, and the Eagles are a team that has one of the easiest schedules to finish off the season, right? So the Eagles are in prime position to probably make the playoffs. I know it's hard to believe, and right now they're on a 2-game win streak. They'll extend that win streak, I believe, on the weekend. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, what else can you say about this guy? He's proving to everybody that didn't believe in him. He's proving right now that he is the answer for Philadelphia moving forward. So I think when you're looking at what he did against the Saints on the weekend, in the run, in the pass game, they did whatever they wanted at will, right? So I think the Giants are a lot worse in terms of defense. I don't know how the Giants are going to contain this guy. I don't know how the Giants are going to limit the big play against the Eagles. So I'm taking the Eagles here, and I'm confident.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I do like the Eagles to get to 500 here. They're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games. This is a team that's literally, came out of nowhere after everybody was ready to write them off for the season. Like you mentioned, Jelani, they got a very favorable path to a potential wild card spot in the NFC. So this is a game that they should be able to win. The Giants are a mess right now. We'll see how their offense looks in light of the firing of Jason Garrett. But I mean, they cannot protect Daniel Jones, for crying out loud. I was watching that Monday Night Football game. He kept getting sacked. He couldn't get the ball out. This offense is struggling. And when you go up against a guy like Jalen Hurts and company that can move the ball at will, particularly on the ground, this has the, this could very well be a blowout win for the Eagles. So I do not like the Giants right now. I know they play typically better at home, but you even look at the history between these two teams. The Eagles own this matchup. So I think they will win here, and they will get to 500 and keep it going with Jalen Hurts.
And another key divisional game on the weekend, we have the Steelers and we have the Bengals. Very interesting matchup. Who are you taking here?
I do like the Steelers plus 4.5. They almost won that game against the Chargers somehow. They were down by 14 with like 6 minutes to go, and the Chargers almost blew it. If you look at the Bengals here, they have not been good following a straight-up win. They're actually 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 times that's happened. This is a divisional game. This could go down to the wire. I fully expect it to. And the Steelers are pissed off because last time the Bengals beat Pittsburgh in their home. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a redemption spot for the Steelers. Joe Burrow has been great. he and Jamar Chase got back on track in that big win against the Raiders. But I do think the Steelers are going to find a way to make plays here. Hopefully they could get a little bit more healthy on defense. They're missing a bunch of key guys, but they still almost beat the Chargers. So Mike Tomlin will be ready to go for this one. Big Ben is back. He's looking decent out there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers win this game outright, so I will take the points with them on the road.
How Joe Burrow comes up in this moment. I'm going to take the Bengals here. The Bengals are looking to sweep the Steelers, something that doesn't always happen. And honestly, when you're looking at the AFC right now, you're seeing the Bengals, they're fifth, right? And that's with Pittsburgh losing to the Chargers. So this is a huge, huge game. I'm just looking at the Steelers defense. They don't have key guys like Watt, possibly not Joe Hayden. And on offense, on the O-line, Dotson's not there, right? So how can they overcome this? They almost did, like you mentioned, against the Chargers, almost overcame it. But when you're looking at the defense specifically, I'm not so sure they're going to be, playing a great game against a team in the Bengals that's 9th in points per game. So I think this is going to be a fun one. See Najee Harris on the screen. How is he going to come up? He did get dinged up against the Chargers. So how is he going to look? They're going to need to run the football. But yeah, overall, I got the Bengals winning and sweeping the Steelers.
That would be a statement for sure. Next game here. This is going to be another great one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2.5-point favorites on the road against one of the hottest teams right now, all of a sudden, in the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I got the Bucs. I think, having a break playing the Giants has got them feeling really, really good about themselves. And, they've limited all the mistakes that Bruce Arians was talking about 2 weeks prior. So they get rid of that 2-game stretch where they had back-to-back losses. Now Tom Brady and company, they look really good against the Giants. But now you're playing a team in the Colts. Like you said, they're playing pretty well right now. How are they going to look? How's Brady going to look against, an old rival when you're looking at his whole career? I think, though, they just have too many weapons for this Colts secondary. So that's why I lean towards Tampa Bay. But what I will say is that Jonathan Taylor, I mean, what else can you say about this guy? He looked fantastic. He had 5 total touchdowns on the weekend. So how are the Bucs gonna, come up? I think that the Bucs D-line is gonna probably find a way to slow him down. They need to, because if he gets past the first line of defense, then it's over. And as for Carson Wentz, this is a game where he cannot turn over the ball, and he hasn't been this year. He's been keeping the ball, limiting the bad mistakes usually. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just think that Tampa's not going to get slowed down by Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm probably going to regret this pick. I'm actually going to go with the Colts, only because the Buccaneers have not proven that they can win on the road. They're 0-5 in their last 5 road games. So the Colts are a team that have been playing really well. Like you said, Taylor, 5 touchdowns. I think he's going to have another great game. And I just see the Colts winning another big game. This is a team that's not being talked about as much as they should be. This is a team that their record could be a lot better. They've been in every single game, and they're going to be at home. And again, I just have to see this Bucs team prove it to me on the road before I can take them in this spot. So I know Tom Brady had a very good game against the Giants. Now can he do the same on the road against a much better Indianapolis Colts team? This is going to be a great game either way. I'd see it going down to the wire. But yeah, I'm going to go with the mini upset pick here. I really think when talking about dark horses in the AFC, you got to start looking at this Colts team because they're proving it each and every week.
Yeah, I agree. The Colts could probably make the playoffs, winning the division if the Titans continue to crumble. But yeah, now we have another one. This is a pick'em between the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. So no spread here. What's your pick?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. I know Miami has played much better lately. A couple of big wins at home. That defense looks a lot scarier than it did to open up the season. Tua has been playing a lot better. But I do like the Panthers, who look re-inspired with Cam Newton at the helm, to show up here. I think he's going to have a big game. I think, McCaffrey's going to be able to move the ball on the ground. And this is a Panthers team that they still have a chance for that wild card spot. I think they will have a big performance here. That defense will slow down Miami. And Miami almost lost against the Jets. And we were talking a minute ago how bad the Jets are. So I think the Panthers, this is a team that they will show up here and they will get the win on the road.
Here, and I get it. The Miami Dolphins aren't that bad. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. Yeah, so they're playing good football, but I just think Carolina will have this one in the bag. I think that, like you said, Cam Newton's gonna have a good game. He looked pretty good actually against Washington, even though he just got back, into the groove of things. This is an important game for the Panthers. They sit at 5-6 right now. They look to possibly get a wild card spot. And this is one, right before the bye week, they'd love to have this one, right? This is a game where they believe that they could get it, in the win column. And after the bye week, they do have a few tough games. So this is a spot where you're seeing the Carolina Panthers and you're saying to yourself, this is, set up for you guys. So that's why I'm putting a lot of stock into the Carolina Panthers this week. But I won't be surprised if it is a close game because the Dolphins have been playing better defensively. Brian Flores has had good plans, good system put in place for these guys over the past few weeks. And we've seen it, for example, against Baltimore. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got the Panthers.
Yeah, like you said, Miami all of a sudden on a 3-game winning streak. So crazy stuff with them. Next game, we got the Chargers, 2.5-point favorites against the Broncos. Broncos coming off their bye. Do you see the Broncos pulling off the mini upset here?
I don't. I got to go with the Chargers. Aside from that one game that Denver had against Dallas, they haven't really been impressive. They haven't really beaten anyone. And also their offense just hasn't done much overall this season. I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater and their offense is going to outduel the offense that Justin Herbert has on the other side of the field. That's how it's going to be. I think this is going to be a game where points are needed to be had. Right. And I get it. The Broncos are at home. Right. So this might be a tough spot for, someone to pick the Chargers. But what I've seen from Justin Herbert, I just so impressed with him. And I think that the offense is going to come up big. Right. And the one thing, though, that I'll say about this Chargers pick, right, you're going to want to see them improve defensively because without Juju Smith-Schuster out there and guys being banged up on the O-line, the Steelers still managed to put points on the board and almost made a comeback in that last game. So the Chargers defensively, they need to show up. They need to limit the Denver offense. And I think that's going to happen. Again, Denver just hasn't been consistent offensively this season. So that's why I'm putting more stock into the Chargers in a game that is huge, right? This keeps them live in the AFC West race. So yeah, give me LA. But Denver, I'm just not impressed with what they have been showing us this year. They've beaten teams, but not good teams, and their offense, just you can't trust them.
Yeah, the only thing they got going for them in this one, I would say, is they're coming off the bye, so extra rest. But I got to go with the Chargers, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games against the AFC West. Like you said, when you break it down at the quarterback play, you're trusting Herbert a lot more than you are Bridgewater. I know Bridgewater typically doesn't make too many big mistakes, but I just like the explosiveness and the aggressiveness of this Chargers offense. But I do want to see the Chargers defense improve, like you said, and I want to see them do a much better job of closing out these games. I mean, that game against the Steelers had no business being that close late with a chance to lose. It took Herbert making the play of the game, the throw of the game to win that game for the Chargers because I thought they were toast when the Steelers made that comeback. So I want to see more consistency from this Chargers team because if they can get it going, piece things together, get that consistency rolling, this is another one of those teams you got to talk about in the AFC because they're definitely talented on offense to hang with the best of them in the NFL. So I do want to see them come out with a big time effort here. This shouldn't be close. They should handle their business against a team that they are much better than. Let's see how that offense looks, and let's see if that defense can do their job, and let's see if the Chargers don't make their fan base sweat this one out, and they could get another win on the road here.
Okay, and moving on to another one, we have the Vikings and the 49ers. Actually, a pretty nice game at 4 o'clock. So the Vikings are underdogs here. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a toss-up game. I got to go with the Vikings only because they have been a sure bet as an underdog. And I mean, you look at the Niners as a favorite, they're only 3-10 in their last 13 games in that situation. And the Vikings are covering about 60% of their games. So 3 points, it's not a lot. It's a hook, but this Vikings team, they're proving that they can win in any single environment. Kirk Cousins, we got to, clap our hands for this guy. He is having a very underrated season. It helps when you have weapons like he that does in Thielen and Jefferson. But this Vikings team, they are putting together a couple of impressive wins, in a row. They have that big win against Green Bay. And the Niners, too, they're on a 2-game win streak. So this is a huge game in terms of NFC playoff implications. But I just like what the Vikings have shown me over the course of an entire season versus what the Niners have shown me. So I do think that the Minnesota Vikings will get this one done. They will go into San Francisco and win this game. So I'm going to take the hook. I'm going to take the +3. But this is going to be one of the best games of the week, in my opinion. Two teams that have been playing much better lately.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Vikings are my pick here. And I came into the season wondering who's going to be the team in the NFC that that will impress people and possibly make a run to the playoffs, even though people might be overlooking them. That was the Vikings for me. I think that the Vikings have a very good team. And you mentioned it, Kirk Cousins having a very nice season. So when you're looking at this game specifically, I just don't see the Niners getting this one done. I know they're coming off of 2 straight wins as well. And, it's going to be a close game because both offenses have also played well. Because San Francisco, just like Minnesota, is, near the top of the league in terms of points per game and yards per game, both of them being like top 12, top 10 type of teams in those categories. So it will be close. This will be important for NFC, like you said, for the wild card spots. But I don't even think the Vikings should be the underdog here. I think they're having a really, really good season, and they're going under the radar for some reason. And like you said, against the spread, they've been really, really good. They have 3 straight wins against the spread as an underdog. So I have a lot of faith in them this weekend. And let's face it, this game's in San Francisco. San Fran, if you look past that game they had against the Rams the other week, they haven't been good at home over the past calendar year. So I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay, next game here, another incredible game on the slate. The Rams taking on the Packers. The Packers, a slight favorite here at home. Who are you going with?
This is a very tough one to tell because the Packers are banged up right now. Defensively, you have guys like Alexander and Zadarius Smith out. And also their O-line spot also banged up with Jenkins hurt, Bakhtiari, he's been hurt. But I'm going to go with the Packers, even despite the fact that Aaron Rodgers, he has a toe issue, and he's been talking about that. I just think that the Packers, they almost pulled it out against the Vikings. It was a very tight game, very close game, divisional battle. But yeah, this is a measuring stick game for both the Green Bay Packers and the LA Rams because Green Bay is trying to prove that they can still get that 1 seed, right? If they continue to get some wins on their schedule. And as for LA, they're trying to prove that they're not a fraudulent team and that they can actually beat teams that are, considered to be the best of the best. And this is on the road for the Rams. So how are they going to look in this spot? This is a rematch of what we saw in the playoffs, right? The Rams went to Green Bay and they ended up losing. But I'm also looking at the fact that this is a matchup we've seen for years. Matt Stafford against Aaron Rodgers. And the history shows us and tells us that Matt Stafford has not been that guy against Aaron Rodgers. He's 4-11 against Rodgers. And remember, with the Lions, he had a lot of trouble, Stafford that is. He had a lot of troubles going to Lambeau and pulling out some wins. So I'm going to go with the Packers here. Despite the fact that they're very banged up, they've still been a great team. And they're still proving that they're arguably the best of the best in the NFC.
Yeah, good point of the quarterback matchup familiarity there. Honestly, this is a tough game, and it's hard to bet against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, especially when they're at home in November. But I'm gonna go with the Rams. This is a bigger game for them, in my opinion. They've lost 2 in a row. They're coming off their bye. This is put up or shut up time about whether or not this team is legitimate. You look at Stafford. Can he get over the hump and finally beat Rodgers? All those years with the Lions, okay, he could use the excuse those teams weren't very good. He didn't have the supporting cast. Well, now you do have the supporting cast on both sides of the ball. So there's no more excuses. They brought you in. They gave up on Goff to win these big games. And I just think given all of the injuries piling up in Green Bay, and like you mentioned, Jelani, Aaron Rodgers going through that toe injury, I think it's going to be too much for them to overcome in this spot. The Packers might look ahead to their bye, and I mean the bye couldn't have come to at a more perfect time for them. So I do like the Rams, that especially having that extra week of preparation to go into Lambeau. Tough task, but they will go into Lambeau and win this game, because this is a Rams team that I think is Super Bowl or bust. They have to show the league that they can hang with the best of them. This is going to be a big game, fantastic game, but I do think the Rams at the end pull it out.
All right. Yeah, they look to respond after a Titans loss and a loss against the Niners. And also OBJ, remember Odell Beckham Jr., it came down to the Packers and the Rams, and he ended up choosing LA. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. And then the Sunday nighter, we have a critical matchup in the North, in the AFC North. We have the Browns and the Ravens. Who's your pick here?
Yeah, Lamar should be okay for this one, you would think, but I'm going to go with the Browns. Divisional game. I think they're going to make this one close. The Ravens, they've had a couple of, key wins this season, but I'm still not fully sold on this team as the team of this division. I mean, this division race is still wide open. It's a 4-team race at this point. I mean, any one of these teams can go on a run and take the division crown. There's going to be a very big next couple of weeks, because we never see this in the NFL. Both these teams are going to be playing each other in consecutive weeks. The Browns are going to have the bye in between, but this is a bigger stretch, I think, for the Browns to make up some ground on the division leader Ravens right now. You look at Baker Mayfield getting booed in that win against the Lions. He's got to be much better in this one, but you got to cut him some slack. Baker Mayfield, he's playing with a ton of injuries, man. Like, this guy is literally dragging himself on that field. He's not complaining about it, and he's still making plays when he needs to. So I do think Baker Mayfield will have a much better game in this one. They should get Hunt back too, so that's going to be big. So the Browns are going to be getting more healthy for this matchup. And the Ravens, they just got to prove it to me that, they can consistently beat some of these teams in the AFC that aren't, the bottom feeding team. So I think this is going to be a close game, field goal game. So I'll take the points. I'm going to take the 3.5, assuming this is going to be a field goal game.
I got the Ravens in this one. It will be a huge win for the Ravens just to keep up in the division as the number one team in the division. But yeah, I'm looking at the fact that they're going to get some reinforcements this week. You're looking at Lamar Jackson. He's likely to return this week. We'll see what happens with that. He's 4-1 against Cleveland in his career. And also, he's probably going to get his best weapon, Marquise Brown, back for this game. So that is great for the Ravens if you're going to take the Ravens here. And also, you're looking at Baker Mayfield on the other side. I'm just not sold. I'm not impressed with what I've seen from Baker nor the offense as a whole. And you're playing the Lions on Sunday, and you didn't manage to do anything really. And Baker, he had no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's not what you want to see from your franchise guy, your number one pick, all that sort of thing. So, there's a lot to blame. There's a lot of drama going on there with Cleveland, just in terms of, is Baker the guy or is he not? But yeah, when you're looking at what he did against a poor Lions defense, you're going to play a better defense in Baltimore. How is he going to show up? I don't know if he's going to be that guy on Sunday night. And if he doesn't, then everyone's going to go crazy in Cleveland, because that's going to be yet another loss and another hit towards what they want to do, which is make the playoffs. And also Baltimore, they've done a great job this year just pulling out wins. They shouldn't even have won in Chicago, and they managed to. You're looking at the fact that a lot of their games have come down to the wire. This one will as well. I think they're probably going to win this one by a touchdown, by a late touchdown. And also, against the spread, they're 8-2 against their division rivals in their last 10 games. So I'm going to take the Ravens here, in a very fun game. All their games are fun. All their games are close. But I trust that if Lamar Jackson's back there, and returning, I just think he's going to be that guy when it's all said and done.
Okay, and then finally to Monday Night Football, we go to close out Week 12. We got the Seahawks taking on the football team. The Seahawks, I don't know what's going on with them right now. Their playoff hopes, they're fading as the weeks go on. And you look at the football team; they've been playing great football in the last couple of weeks. So who do you got in this one?
I got the Seahawks. I actually do. I cannot see them dropping another game and playing so bad. It's been very underwhelming this season. Honestly, a lot of people had Seattle making the playoffs, and I get it. Russell Wilson, he got hurt this season, right? With that finger injury. And he's returned. It's been very, very slow. The past 2 games, since he's returned from injury, they haven't been able to do anything. But this is a spot where Washington defensively, although they've improved a bit, they haven't really been that good in terms of the pass defense, right? They've allowed 270 per game, in the air, and also 75% of their yardage allowed this year has been through the air. So this is a spot where you're looking at Russell Wilson and their pass offense, DK Metcalf, Lockett, those guys. This is the time to shine, right? And you don't want to drop to 3-8. You don't want to be that team that has been, the most disappointing team. You don't want to do that anymore. You want to get back in the win column, help your guys out, just help out the locker room. We also saw Pete Carroll. It's just been a bad year for Seattle. This is a spot where they could get a win, probably, hopefully get back in the win column. I see Seattle doing things offensively that we haven't seen in the past 2 weeks. So give me Seattle.
Yeah, it's now or never for the Seahawks team. If you want to make a run, you've got to start on Monday. That extra game will help you if you do want to make a run to possibly get into a wild card spot. But they first got to think about winning this game, and I think they will win this game. They're 4-1 in their last 5 Monday Night Football games against the spread. I know this is a pickup game, and I know the football team have been playing really good, especially defensively, like you mentioned. But come on, the Seahawks team has to wake up eventually. I was shocked they lost that game against the Cardinals. I thought they were going to win that game. That was one of my picks of the week. I was proven wrong. So I'm going back to the well one more time. Seahawks, let's see if you can prove us right. Pete Carroll and company. This is a team that no stranger to adversity. And the Seahawks are having one of their worst seasons in the Russell Wilson era, literally. So this is a team that they got to pull it out. And I expect Russ, big game Russ, especially on Monday Night Football, to come through finally, get that offense rolling. And I do expect the defense that has looked dead in these last couple of losses to, apply some pressure on Heineke and make this game difficult for him. So it is now or never for the Seahawks. I think they will pull this one out, and they will finally get a win.
Yeah, they need to win bad. I'm not impressed with what I've seen this year. Again, Seattle was supposed to probably be a playoff team, and that's not how they're looking so far. But we've covered all the games, all 15 games this week. It should be a very fun week. A lot of battles, in division battles, a lot of key games, just atop conferences. So here are our picks once again. When you're looking at it, there will be some upsets. I'm not too sure where we're going to see it. Honestly, it might be the Lions. You never know. Just the Bears have not been playing well with, all their injuries and Matt Nagy sort of thing. So that might be a spot that we might see an upset. And also, this might not be too much of an upset, but watch for the Colts. Again, they have been playing pretty well. I do have Tampa, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts come up big in this one. And it will be interesting to also see, again, on Thanksgiving, the Raiders and Cowboys, just how the Cowboys have done with injuries. It hasn't looked good in Kansas City. So how are they going to come up this weekend? But again, here are our picks for Jelani and Luca. This was Spreadzies. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.